So go ahead, run your mouth about Kamala Harris, but at the end of the day, Donald Trump's still a lunatic, and the country doesn't want an unstable madman like that who doesn't even believe in America. He thinks we should terminate our Constitution. He had no problem trampling our democracy. I'm not letting that clown come in here and destroy this country.
A few moments later.
Hey, I hear you. People can change. And I actually do I do buy into having a little bit bigger tent. Now, a huge tent is not a great idea. And over the weekend, there was a lot of hullabaloo around, or outrage, about Charlie Kirk's TPUSA, not just platforming, but giving a standing ovation to Cenk Uygur, a man who has said heinous things about not just Trump, but about Republicans. And a lot of people, including myself, were embarrassed for those people at that event giving this man a standing ovation, given the fact that he wanted you all dead and buried during the lockdowns. He has called you the bad guys from WW2 for the last 12 years. He is pro humans sleeping with animals. He has celebrated some of the most heinous things in history. The name of his show is named after the Armenian genocide, of which he denies, has denied multiple times through history. Now, I'm all for welcoming people in. I'm for welcoming in RFK supporters. We welcome them all in, right? We didn't gatekeep them. We let Tulsi Gabbard people in. We didn't gatekeep them. But in my opinion, allowing Cenk to rebrand himself as the reasonable leftist is insanity. Okay, the stuff he said about you and your family, this guy doesn't deserve diddly squat in terms of the benefit of the doubt. The fact that people were arguing with me all weekend on Twitter about, well, yeah, but think of his audience. His audience might convert. Bro, his audience was thumbs-upping his videos, wanting you dead, calling Trump a Hitler. That's who his audience is. Who you think they're going to just suddenly be MAGA now? Yes, some people can grow on their own. But giving this guy a standing ovation was disgusting. Big media sticks with big media. That's all I can say. I have no idea why this guy was invited there. I have no idea why anyone in that crowd will stand up and applaud that man. Period. Unless he fell. I mean, you see this. The crowd at America Fest just gave Cenk Uygur a standing ovation to welcome him. Look at this. You're joking, right? You're joking. You guys, I tweeted this out. If you think for 1 second that if Kamala Harris would have won, Cenk Uygur would have been platforming conservatives and talking about, quote, bridging the divide, I have some amazing Florida swampland investment opportunities for you. There's so much of the right wing that just wants to be liked. This was what, this past summer? This is him calling all Republicans diddlers.
And the right wing's like, yes, I love how they...
He talks about how they do bad stuff to kids, and they support church.
Say, Republicans, you're guilty, okay? And I'll tell you right now, the number one reason they constantly talk about pedophilia is because it's going through their heads. Nonstop, they're thinking about kids. I guarantee it. The reason Tim Pool wears a beanie is because he's trying to contain the pedophilia.
So he calls Tim, after calling Tim a ped, and called all Republicans that same thing. Let's put him on stage. Give him a standing ovation. And I've seen all the ooh, this is fifth dimensional chess. We're just bringing him in. No, they're not. This is just big media personalities sticking with big media personalities. This is just, hey, I know I'll get a lot of viewership if I have you on the show. So I'm going to bring you on the show. Now I will, look, why Cenk of all people? You could have had Anna Kasparian on there, who at least seems to have some sort of organic, movement away from the far left to a more moderate left. But Cenk has not had any such movement. He saw the writing on the wall. He knew Kamala Harris was going to lose. And so now he rebranded himself to save his viewership. And the right-wing media sphere welcomed him with open arms, and it's pathetic. Did anybody at AmFest pay to see Cenk Uygur? Well, apparently all these people giving him a standing ovation did. You want to bring him there to debate? That's one thing. But are you joking? And you see this, like, the left says, the Young Turks lost the plot when they lost me when they stopped pushing, like, radical far-right agendas. They lost the left. So what do they have left, folks, to embrace the right? Now, I hear you. Jeremy, we shouldn't gatekeep. I agree. Everyone should be allowed to change their mind and grow. But can we give the guy a freaking month, maybe, before handing him all of our money and our viewership and our sponsorships and our platforms? How come we didn't have Owen Schroyer or anybody from InfoWars at AmFest, but you have Cenk Uygur? I didn't see Alex Jones speaking there. But you have Cenk Uygur. That is big media looking out for big media. That's what that is. Cenk Uygur has not made any spectacular move to the right. He himself will tell you he hasn't changed his views. He was on Tim Pool not that long ago saying, well, Republicans are the ones that are that are the Terrys.
At this point, the FBI, which is historically massively right-wing.
Oh, yeah, that's why they're chasing down all those people who took a guided tour of the Capitol 4 years ago and still putting them in prison. That sounds massively right-wing, right?
I think it's completely inverted, but the bias comes from the extremity of the actions taken by the terrorists. So you'll end up with a story of a guy, perhaps Maine. I think the story.
He goes on. I mean, look, Tim can have on whoever he wants. I'm not for deplatforming. But again, here we don't want peace with somebody who mocks people who are friends of the 2As. This guy mocks weapons owners and Christians.
There's only a couple of things in the Constitution right-wingers actually agree with.
Oh, is that true?
Me like guns. I hear guns in Constitution.
He thinks you're stupid.
Okay, there are other things like we shall not establish a religion. There should be no religious test for holding office. Me no like that part of Constitution.
Who's the Republican so he's mocking Republicans as stupid.
Okay, yeah, well then leave. You're un-American. You don't believe in the fact.
This is the guy that I'm supposed to believe it's been a month and he's suddenly the guy. I'm saying, look, you can allow certain people in, but Cenk Uygur, I mean, let the guy show me for 6 months or a year. Suffer in viewership. Have the viewership suffer for 6 months or a year. Then maybe we'll bring you around. Prove that you're not just grifting. I hate to even look this up. Of course, communist Twitter, Cenk attending a Nazi rally and glazing Charlie Kirk and directly telling people not to vote Democrat is one of the most disgusting acts I've ever seen. Could it be that he saw the writing on the wall? Could it be? Now, I wonder if I hate to even look. If he got a bump, this is going to be so annoying. So he's losing his left-wing audience. Everyone says, Jeremy, his audience. His audience. You got to have his audience. Freaking who, man? Who? There's 1,000 YouTube channels that are more moderate and left-wing that have bigger viewerships than the Young Turks. This is a channel. Look at this channel. Who are you talking about? Who is his viewership? Since July, he's gone from 60 million viewers to 26. He's lost 60% of his viewership in the last month. January, they had 10 million views. I don't know. They must have deleted a bunch of videos. I don't know what happened there. This is a channel that has lost, that gained subs, and has completely plateaued. This channel gets not even 1 million views a day. I think we could pick better people to bring into our tent. This guy calls Tim a ped, right? Now we give him a standing ovation. Guys, have some self-respect. We don't need Cenk. Cenk needs us, and let him prove it. Let him prove it over a year or 2 or 3. Actually prove that you care about populism or that you care about being anti-establishment. The idea that I'm being outrageous means that you are completely overlooking this man's 20-year career. The 20 years worth of stuff he said about you. He just suddenly was like, oh my God. And Charlie Kirk, when he's at the peak, he's like, let's bring this boat anchor in. We don't want to raise too high. We don't want to build up too much momentum. We want to make sure we bring in Cenk Uygur, the guy that thinks you all belonged in prison for not getting the jab. The guy that calls you the bad guys from WWE. The guy whose channel is in free fall. What are you talking about? This video from yesterday got 60,000 views. There's 100 channels more important and bigger than the Young Turks. Here's 10,000 views. Well, here's 100,000 views. Okay, 100,000 views on a channel with 6 million subscribers. That's Boogie 2988 numbers. 20,000 views, 11,000 views, 20,000 views. This is the guy we need? This is his guy's audience that we need? 12,000 views. 18,000 views. There are thousands of left-wing channels that are better suited to bring into our tent. There are thousands of right-wing channels that I don't go to these events. Okay? And to be fair, TPUSA hasn't, Turning Point has invited me to speak at stuff and go to things and things like that. Okay? But I don't. Where's Alex? Where's Owen Schroyer? Where's Mark Dice? Where's all of these? You think Cenk's audience is more important for people that pay, and the people that stood and applauded? Give me a break, guys. You don't let infiltrators who are on sinking boats jump on your boat. You let them sink off into the ocean, sink or swim. Look at Stephen A. Smith coming out. Oh my God, the Democrats. Oh, I'm not a Republican, but ooh, Democrats. Puss, wimp. You stood by that party for 4 years. You told your followers to vote for them. Now you're like, well, I never said that. Wrong. Get out of here with that. Cenk Uygur, you can invite anyone else. Anna Kasparian even. But Cenk is 1,000% a grifter who hasn't changed a single thing. And everybody in right-wing Big Con has been platforming this guy with no regard, not holding him to account for the things that he said and pretending that he's just turned over a new leaf. Give me a break. Hope you enjoyed this video.